Buying or selling a business is one of the biggest financial decisions most people will ever make. But honestly, a lot of business owners have no idea how the financing side actually works until they're already deep into the process. So we ventured out and sat down with Kalen Schwartz, a commercial lender here in Minnesota who specializes in business acquisitions, to get the real answers to some of the biggest questions buyers and sellers should be asking. In this conversation, we talk about SBA loans, down payments, working capital, common financing mistakes, partnerships, seller involvement, and what banks are actually looking for when someone wants to buy a business. If you're even thinking about buying or selling a business someday, this is definitely a conversation worth paying attention to. So Kalen, when people walk into your office, what are some of the common misconceptions that you feel that you run into when they're looking to secure funding for a purchase?
Yeah, honestly, I kind of get both sides of the spectrum. So I have folks that they're trying to buy a $2 million company and they have 10 grand. And then I got people on the other side where they have $1 million and then they don't even know if they can buy a company for 2 million. So I do have both sides of the spectrum. And I would say normally, so we're utilizing the SBA program. And for those, the typical structure is 10% down, 10% from the seller. So you're going to be paying them kind of over a longer period of time. And then we finance typically 80%. So it's a lot lower than, for a $2 million company, you're coming in with about 200,000. I will say with that 10% down though, that can't be every dime you have. So you can't just be coming in and just saying like, all right, I scraped together all my pennies and here we go. I got 200,000. I'm ready to go. You really have to have more of a cushion because obviously you got to continue to pay your personal bills. And then you still have to capitalize the company. So you have to have enough money on the sidelines to be able to inject in the event that something happens. So my normal rule of thumb is to have, obviously that 10% coming into the deal, but have another 5 or 10% outside of that to be able to have on the sidelines.
Okay. Do you find that there's more people coming in and being more qualified or less qualified when they're coming in and having these conversations?
I would say they're probably more qualified. They've at least gone online and done some initial research before they've come to me. That's where online has it, as you know, there's a little bit of everything. So you got some of the stuff that's kind of garbage and junk where you kind of got to push that off the side. But normally there's at least enough information where you can ask questions. And I would say, when folks come to me, they at least have at least like a baseline of knowledge of what the SBA program is and what it can do, and then how we can help them. It's just more kind of fitting in those extra pieces that they don't have.
So would you recommend before someone comes into your office to maybe do a little bit of research and understand some of the qualifying components before they take that next step and start sitting with someone and talking numbers?
Yeah, I would say to a certain extent. Again, you gotta be careful where those sources are and who is actually, putting that information together. But it doesn't hurt to at least have those questions formulated ahead of time. Otherwise, I'm trying to educate you, and sometimes it feels like a fire hose, to be honest, just because it's like so much information at once. So anything you can do ahead of time just to get familiar with it, get familiar with the terms, kind of look stuff up, and then we can kind of do a deeper dive when we're on the call.
A lot of people hear SBA and they're not really sure what that means and how they can benefit from it. So could you share a little bit more on what the SBA does in these types of situations?
The SBA stands for Small Business Administration, and it's a government-backed program. And what they're really trying to do is spur economic growth in the United States. And they do that by guaranteeing our loans as far as the bank standpoint. And what we're trying to do is finance deals that we wouldn't normally finance. So if you think about buying a house, you're buying that house for that physical asset, and usually you can resell that, right, on the market. For businesses, you're buying that reoccurring cash flow. And the challenge is if the company is not doing well, then the value of that decreases significantly. And usually you don't have a lot of hard assets to then sell, behind the scenes. So the SBA program is there to provide that guarantee in the event that things go south. So that allows us to finance things that we wouldn't normally finance, such as, like I said, an acquisition or maybe even a startup. Beyond that, many banks are preferred lenders. So I've worked for pretty much my whole career, preferred lenders. And what that means is they can underwrite the deal in house and then they don't have to send it in to the SBA for approval. So it definitely streamlines the approval process. And then you're working with people that work on SBA loans day in and day out.
Why do many owners decide to work with the SBA versus like a conventional lender?
Yeah, so I would say, as far as like the profile of clients that we work with, about 70% of them utilize the SBA program. And there's a couple different reasons. One, there's definitely a lot less down. So on an SBA loan, you're putting 10% down versus on the conventional side or kind of like a non SBA loan, we're putting down or we're having clients put down probably 25 to 35%. So definitely a lot more coming out of your pocket. And then as far as the length of term, we're typically doing 10 years on the SBA acquisition side compared to closer to 5 or maybe 7 years on the conventional side. So you're pretty much doubling your
Oh, wow.
payments at that point in time. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a significant, if you think about your monthly payments and you're transitioning in the business and just getting used to the client base and your employees and everything, do you want to be paying double the amount of payments during that period of time?
Right. So it can really free up a lot of cash flow to just help them to continue to support the business and grow the business.
Correct. And I would say those first couple years are really instrumental as far as making sure everything else goes well. So do you really want the headache of the financing piece being a stressor on the company? You know what I mean? You got enough
Right.
things going on beyond that.
Yeah. Okay. The people that I've spoke with that have utilized the SBA or some that have shopped around with it, it seems like there's this misconception that the rates are almost always higher than a conventional loan. What is the actual case behind that?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things happening there. One thing is, if you're doing an acquisition or a startup, rates are just going to be higher in general compared to you're buying a building. It's just one of those things where no matter what, a bank is going to be taking on more risk. However, there's a little bit of a misconception out there because there are banks that just automatically do charge the highest rate,
Yeah.
but that doesn't have to be the case. So if you're talking to your lender and they're just going for the max rate, and you can look it up online on what the SBA caps the max rate at, but if they're automatically going there, there is probably some room for another lender to maybe compete because technically the rate beyond that max cap is up to the lender itself. So there's some flexibility on there. So if you have a stronger buyer, what I typically do is look at the risk of the deal, both from the buyer side, the company side, and determine what type of flexibility do we have as a lending institution to potentially lower that rate. There's a lot of SBA lenders that do variable rate, which means that it's going to change either monthly or quarterly, and that can go up or down. So you're
Yeah.
kind of
That seems a little risky to
it,
some folks.
it can be, especially with a rising rate environment. All of
Right.
a sudden now your rate or your payment is starting to go up significantly, and that's really out of control. We will oftentimes look at a fixed rate option, and not every institution will do that. So I would, again, talk to a bunch of different banks and kind of see what options you do have.
So what you're saying is if you feel the rate's a little high, that even if you're going through the SBA, maybe still shop it around.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, even though people say through the SBA, technically it's going to be the bank
Right.
that's actually going to determine what that rate's going to be. So a misconception is that the SBA determines what the rate is. Again, they only have a cap out there to protect the actual client themselves.
So really at the end of the day, you're doing business with the bank and the vehicle is the SBA.
That's exactly it. So people have that people oftentimes think that they're going to deal with the SBA directly. Technically, it's more of an insurance policy.
Yeah.
So it's a behind the scenes thing. We have to make sure that we're following the SBA rules, and there's certain guidelines that we have to adhere to. But at the end of the day, you're still working with your local bank.
If you found this conversation helpful, we're going to be doing a lot more videos with Kalen, covering business acquisitions, SBA financing, working capital, buying versus building, and a lot more topics around the financial side of business ownership. So make sure to subscribe to the CSI Accounting Payroll YouTube channel so you don't miss the next videos in this series. And if you're a business owner looking for help understanding the financial side of a growing operation, buying or eventually selling a business, you can schedule a free consultation with CSI with the links below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.